so long is like alchemy.
All right, I got to jump right into this due to time constraints. You see KD hit Anunoby with the back door, and these young guys, they're physically ready, right? But they had a hard time guarding off ball some of the time here. And then look at DeLon Wright. Y'all remember Darrell Wright, the former Warrior, with the pump fake at the three-point line? Well, apparently his little brother is going to be a better player than the former Warrior. You see him getting the start for Kyle Lowry. Klay was really with the shits in this game. He brought out all the little tricks, even some things I didn't know he had. Now watch Steph. Steph's the biggest culprit as far as not switching. He has to switch that, right? You can't leave Klay out to dry and let DeRozan turn the corner. Now, Valanciunas is kind of the same predicament the Warriors have with Zaza. He does a lot of things very well, but he's not going to be able to guard the three-point line. You see Draymond, he hit 2 threes, but watch Zaza, though. This is just, he's such a good decision maker. I don't think we give him credit for that. That's an obvious play right there and the nice assist. But he had a very nice start to this game. You're going to see him with the pick, the roll, and then the finish on Valanciunas. And as long as Valanciunas was in the game, I think Zaza was a good matchup between these two. Now, I've talked about Draymond's floater, but this baseline floater, that's a twice as hard shot right there. With no backdrop, the side shot floater is very difficult. Now watch Draymond's defensive stand here. One challenge, gets back over to Anunoby, and then steps in on Valanciunas. Draymond doing Draymond things. And then on the offensive end, this really just encapsulates the entire first half. We always hear Kerr talk about don't take a good shot. KD passes up the good shot and then gets it back for a great shot within the flow of the offense. Valanciunas can't get out. And it was like, okay, these boys are locked in the 6. But Toronto would answer. The 23rd pick, OG Anunoby, right? And he probably would have been a lottery pick, but he blew out his knee at Indiana his sophomore year. I like him. He's ready to go. And then look at Zaza scrap with Valanciunas. Now, I want to warn you, I didn't speed up this tape, right? There's the offensive rebound. Now count the seconds right here. All of a sudden, Zaza's at the rim. So a rim run from Zaza, and again, he quietly had a great start to this game. It was kind of overshadowed by the Warriors' star power. But as good as Golden State was playing offensively, DeRozan might have been playing even better. Look at Looney in the first quarter, and there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, he can get all the way to the rim, so you have to respect him off the bounce. And Steph kind of eased his way into this game. He wasn't very aggressive to start. He got Ibaka switched out. There's the patented step back with the hand in the face and got that to go. But as far as DeRozan goes, I still would go under the screens. I know he's shooting the 3 better. Watch Klay here fight over it, but it's the lesser of evils. Letting him get to the rim and use his athleticism, you don't really stand a chance unless you have an elite shot blocker at the rim. And then Patrick McCaw, I absolutely love this. It didn't work out, but he went to the rim like P-Mac, right? It's just a mindset, and I love that he had it early. Now, how do you force the switch? Watch Van Vliet pick KD off here. So he's already trailing, forcing Looney to switch on to DeRozan. And then DeRozan has the matchup he wants in his favorite spot on the floor, the triple pump fake. Pretty good defense there from Looney, but he's got tricks of his own. Watch him use Slim's gravity, fake handoff, and then the patience at the rim against the shot blocker and gets the finish. Again, Looney in the first quarter of a big game. And I don't know what Draymond shoots from trailer, top of the key threes, but I'm guessing it's his highest percentage as far as three-point shots go. He always knocks those down if he can get them. And then Iguodala, I know I've been picking on him, but he didn't give me reason to pick on him in this game. This is a nice finish to end the first quarter. Wasn't exactly above the rim, but he did some nice things in the limited time that he did play. And this clearly, by the numbers, was the greatest offensive half we've seen in a while. Draymond with the left hand. David West going to work and abusing the rookie here. I love how he goes right into the shot blocker's body, and that hook has been automatic. Now, I know Dwayne Casey is a defensive-minded coach here, but he should have known better to think he could stick Van Vliet on Klay Thompson, who just works him. And then we have our big guard lineup in there with Livingston. So then Livingston spots him, and he's like, oh, and you know, they list this kid at 6 foot, but he's 6 foot like Tom Cruise is 5'10", right? It's not happening. So then Livingston gets to his spot and the bucket, and the offense was just truly contagious in this first half. Real quick, who do y'all prefer, Kareth or Roz? Roz doing her thing for TNT now. Kareth's nice. Is that pleather she's wearing, though? Anyway, back to the game. Klay gets Ibaka switched on him, and then this happens. I think he just steps on his foot. It wasn't a legit crossover, but the Warriors bench, they're going to react the way they're going to react. And what made it worse was Serge getting up all slow. And then I love this pass because it's a timing pass, and then it's a location pocket pass. I'm glad Sean could reward Ig for the beautiful pass in the paint. And then this is a very popular new school move. Watch the inverted Euro step, right, left, and then finish off the wrong foot. But these players, this is something that's becoming very popular and very hard to guard in the league. Look at this effort from Sean with his back to DeRozan the whole time and lets him pull from his hot spot. So don't get things twisted. This wasn't a complete first half. It was just an offensive onslaught. We weren't exactly playing great defense. It's just that we couldn't be stopped on this end of the court. Livingston gets it right back. more Klay, who clearly had a bounce-back game from the struggles in Milwaukee, and he did most of his damage in the mid-range. He got right to his spots and was hitting it, but it was really the extra passing. 22 assists in 1 turnover in the first half is truly what led to these 81 points and led them to shoot like 70-something%. David West, that's usually not his spot, but he knocked it down anyway because he was wide open. Watch Steph hesitate here at the free throw line. That's usually a floater or an easy pulled jump shot for him, so his timing was off and his confidence wasn't all the way there. I talk a little bit more about that in my main channel video if you want to hear my take on that. You see him miss the shot. And then KD, this was about the only thing that he missed in this first half, and it was his easiest attempt, the dunk. Now, he didn't hit it off the back of the rim. If you look at the replay, the ball slips out of his hands as he's elevating, but I love those Slim Reaper slams. I'd like to see more of them. So this time, you already know what my call is going to be on this, right? He gets another dunk a couple plays later, and what's he going to do? Use 2 hands. So he finishes that. And Steph, he had 9 assists. So I'm not saying Steph was like terrible or anything like that, but his shooting himself, there he goes planting off 2 feet. And again, maybe he's just adapting his game, but he didn't seem to want to do his normal strides into the paint is what I'm saying. Now, Ibaka, this has become his default, and that's the problem with it. Barnett brought it up. He's just in love with the 3 ball. Yes, he needs to show that he can shoot it, but it shouldn't be his plan A and B. Here we go to wind down the half, and it's the reverse pick and roll, and Steph's like, all right, fine, I'll finally shoot it. So 81-point first half in Toronto. Third quarter, you knew they were going to come out with some pride. At home, I believe they've only lost 2 home games all season. DeRozan has really become an elite scorer. I know I'm kind of banging my head against that, man, but I'm just very impressed. Now watch Steph, right? That's a little bit slower than his normal rhythm dribble, but he understood Valanciunas wouldn't challenge that. And then more Klay. Shout out to my new patron, Slick Watts. He pointed out DeRozan and Klay have a little thing, right? They were on the Olympic team together, and I think they have a little extra competitive juices against each other. And then Ron Adams would be nauseous from that type of challenge from KD. And Durant and Steph both really have the tendency to relax with these big leads. There's another sloppy pass and then doesn't really challenge Anunoby there. And that's why Draymond's so important. And that's why some of the others, Klay, Draymond, and the others are important, because it's KD and Steph. It's in their personality, I think, to let up a little bit. And then here was a real turning point in the game, if you ask me. Zaza picks up his 5th foul, and it was a rub screen offensive, and Dwayne Casey had been campaigning for it, I'm sure, since the first quarter, and they finally nail Za with it, and it's his 5th foul, and this is where Toronto really started to utilize their size. DeRozan was already going, and what makes it so impressive is now, yes, he's shooting the 3, but he picks his spots. He doesn't fall in love with it. He still understands where his elite strengths are, and that's getting to the rim in that mid-range game, but Toronto all the way back in this at this point, you can tell. Draymond, coast to coast. I've been so impressed with his offensive game the last few weeks. I've brought it up, but he's been so much fun to watch. Valanciunas high pick and roll. Watch him make the pass right away, allowing Anunoby for the nice reverse finish. Peep the homie on the baseline. I don't know what lamp he popped out of, but he was turned up all night, and Golden State all of a sudden is like, dang, do we have ourselves a game? And I think Za's 5th foul forced Kerr to go small sooner than he would have liked. And then Toronto took full advantage of it. There's Ibaka all of a sudden in the block. And then Valanciunas here, that's too deep. And these fouls really broke the rhythm offensively. Now, I've been working with this with my daughter. When you take a hop into your catch, it's got to be low. Because the pass is so long, you see how big of a hop that was for Steph? That broke his rhythm. When you hop into your shot, it's got to be thin, like you're jumping over a piece of paper. P-Mac, this drive was like Patty Mayonnaise. I call him P-Mac when he tries to dunk. When he goes pussyfooting to the rim, it's Patty Mayonnaise. Shout out Doug Funny. And then there's more offensive glass. Valanciunas, as the fouls are racked up, man. And like I said, they were getting hammered. And shout out to Dwayne Casey for recognizing that and changing his game plan. I know Kerr went to Looney, but he just doesn't have the physical impact that Zaza had in the game, and he had played so well. And then Valanciunas does that, and I love when that happens because I think it wakes up Golden State. When a guy stunts on us, because KD right away loves to deliver the silencer. I heard a stat that I loved. He has more go-ahead baskets than any player in the NBA this year, and he just rises to the occasion. And I think that big Valanciunas dunk woke up the Warriors a little bit like, okay, these dudes are really coming at our necks. Another pull-up 3, Anunoby, you have some. More of Steph, and watch him come to a 2-footed plan again. Maybe this is just him developing, and the nice finish from P-Mac taking the contact from the 7-footer. Now watch Nick Young got in the game briefly and switched on to DeMar, and I think there's a familiarity here. These 2 LA boys, I think he's seen every move DeRozan has, somehow stays down. because we couldn't slow him down all night. That would have been an interesting thing to see Nick Young be the stopper. Fourth quarter, look at PMAC not allow himself to get sealed. See how he fronts Poeltl and then tips the ball out? So PMAC did some nice things. He was active defensively, but he still didn't hit a perimeter shot. Here we go driving, and watch Poeltl slip in for the offensive rebound. I believe they had 14 on the game. Now, David West gave us double digits, 11 points, but how about only 1 rebound? Our leading rebounders were Steph and KD tied with 6, and we were out-rebounded 44-29. This kid Van Vliet's a baller, man. There's the trailer, Poeltl with the spike at the rim, and now it got cut to single digits about halfway through this fourth quarter, so Steve Kerr rarely goes back to the starters early in the fourth. About the 7:40 mark, he goes back to Steph and KD, sensing danger. David West, and I guess they thought this was a foul. I didn't get a good angle on it, but Steve Kerr apparently was irate that there was a no call on that because Toronto had been getting the whistle every time down. So Kerr's like, I'm gonna go ahead and get myself a tee, and that's one of my favorite things during Warrior games is when Kerr gets fired up. So here we go, Van Vliet again, Poeltl, and it's Siakam on the offensive glass, and we were undersized. Looney's in there, but he was struggling with the athleticism of Toronto's bigs, and that's a great pass. Now watch Curry not want to come down on the right foot. You see how he kicked his leg up and landed super awkward? Look at that leg kick because he doesn't want to come down on the right ankle. Again, it could be in his head. Either way, it's happening, and there's the Wichita State kid, Van Vliet, Fred Van Vliet. He hit 6 threes against Cleveland, and I think right now he's better than DeLon Wright. I don't know, Casey, I know Wright's their future, but Van Vliet can go right now. Here we go, Steph. He's going to answer. You know they're going to rise to the occasion. It's almost like they wanted this, right? They wanted the end game drama. Curry pull-up 3. He ended up with 24 on the night. More DeRozan slicing, and that was maybe his most impressive finish of the night, taking the contact and finishing between West and Draymond Green, and it's a 2-point basketball game. And here's more Clay. How about 11 of 16 on the night? The dude was ultra efficient and did everything you could ask for. Now here comes the pick and pop. What I liked about the offense down the stretch was Kerr didn't overcomplicate things. He went to the Curry, KD, pick and pop, pick and roll down the stretch. Particularly with Toronto's long defenders, you don't want to run that motion. And then David West, let's be real here, he has a tendency to do this. He's done this several times this year where when he closes out on a three-point shooter, he just can't retract and get out of his own way. 3 free throws, and then DeRozan, more offensive rebounding and the flip shot, and we've got ourselves a 1-point game with 1 minute remaining in snowy Toronto. Was it snowing? I don't know. It just sounded better. So what's it going to be? Here we go. 1 minute remaining in the game, and honestly, I'd like to go to KD in this situation, but Steph keeps the ball, and then Draymond wants this corner 3 ball, but Siakam, great closeout, so he drives. The 7-footer Poeltl's going to put him on his butt. And I've covered this. We've talked about it. I don't even really want to see it again. Maybe y'all could tell me. I haven't had the time to read today what they're saying, but I wouldn't be surprised if they hold him out Martin Luther King Day in Cleveland. And I'm salty about it, man. This just keeps happening. But more importantly, Steph Curry's health. Like we can't have him keep getting banged up. And he goes to the line and misses both these free throws with essentially a stinger on that right elbow. So 45 seconds left. And Toronto is going to call a timeout and set something up. So you're like, who's going to guard DeRozan, right? Is it going to be Draymond, the defensive player of the year? No, it's Kevin Durant, and I love this decision. Put size and length on DeRozan. Watch him go under the screen. He's like, all right, take that 3. I know you don't really want it, and then uses his length for the shot contest. Looney, big rebound. I didn't even catch that till I'm watching this now. Looney with a nice rebound there, and here we go. What are we going to do? Now, Kevin Durant knows right away when he's catching off this fade, he's not even going to put it down. It didn't matter if Mutombo was there. He was going to elevate and shoot that, and that's why it dropped. And the rightful closer of this Warriors team puts Golden State up 3, but this game's not done yet. And I haven't seen Kerr do this, but I'm a big proponent in fouling when you're up 3 with under 10 seconds, but they don't do that. There's the jump ball, and I lost my shit when Poeltl dove under Curry's legs. We've already seen him hit the floor way too many times. Watch Poeltl roll up on Curry. And initially they called this out of bounds Golden State. But upon further review, I want to credit the referees because they got this right. And it was Golden State's ball. And I'm going to wrap this quick because if this goes over 15 minutes, this video, y'all, YouTube will take it down. But it was a barely get away. Look at Steph's face, says it all, right? He's like, hoo, hoo, hoo. We barely got away with that one. I'm out, y'all.